Can anything go right? Or allegedly, it's been a time. Single piece of laws to like my where statement. I was just lucky. Oh my morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Okay, so today, let's see what's going on. A lot has been happening. Reporting being wrong, like metric descriptions are wrong, like what's happening in the code doesn't match the description that was provided. So a lot of our reports were wrong, or not reports were wrong. The data is right, but the metric description is wrong. So we were under the assumption that reporting was working one way and it wasn't. So now we're being told that a lot of other teams' reports are wrong. So it's kind of like, okay. So yesterday what I was doing is spending a lot of time investigating and looking into it, because when you're auditing, or at least for me, when I audit like metric results and things like that, you just literally don't have the time to go and look at every single piece of data. You go and you validate, you check it different ways to make sure like the numbers are, like the code works the way it's supposed to, that the results are coming out the way you expect it to. You check all those things, right? And you run and you pull different sample sets of data to make sure it's working correctly. So I guess in whatever samples I was pulling, I was just lucky and all of this stuff looked aligned and it wasn't matching other data sources. And I was just like, okay, well, that makes sense, because in their metric, like again, with these metrics with the same names. So we have a lot of metrics that have the same names, but the metric calculations are slightly different. So when I was comparing the metric we were using to what was being used in other tools or other departments, I was like, okay, so our metric doesn't include this. So it makes sense that our numbers are different, because they have to be including this because the numbers are different. Like that's the only thing that logically made sense. But apparently our numbers should be matching, because our metric definition was labeled incorrectly, but they should both be calculating the same. So now it's being said that the other teams, all of their I don't know the final result. I think it's still an ongoing issue, but it appears that other teams' numbers are inflated when our numbers should be the same, even though the metric calculation definitions are different. They're saying our code actually matches their code, so they should be pulling in the same thing. However, their numbers are inflated some way. Look, I'm confused by it. I'm sure I just confused all of you, so apologies. But yeah, that's what I'm being told. But anyways, yesterday that was going on and I was pretty shocked at it, because I'm like, I spent so much time researching and digging into this issue just for y'all to be like, oh, well, you've been telling everyone that it's not working this way, and actually it is working the way, but it doesn't align with the metric calculation. So I'm just like, I feel like I can't do anything right lately. Like everything is wrong, and it's not like I didn't say anything to anybody. I'm like, hey, this is what I'm seeing, this is what the documentation says that's being used, but the documentation is wrong, apparent or allegedly. I don't know for sure. I haven't received final word. But not only is that wrong, there's another metric that we last week we were told, or people are saying the metric is wrong, like the results are wrong, that the reporting isn't capturing all of the activity. And they were telling like our sales employees to not focus on the numbers. And it's like, we're a month in, well, we have like a month left of Q2. Sales are not doing the best. So that's why we have all these different sales initiatives, and our VPs and all these executives are giving even harder targets. So you can't tell these employees to not focus on the number. We need them to focus on these sales. They do need to focus on, wrong or not, whether the results are wrong or not. The messaging of don't focus on the number should not be there. They definitely need to focus on the number. I wasn't the one that was telling them that, but you know, I think they definitely need to focus on the number. So, all right, I have a one-on-one with, like, I have back-to-back meetings from 9 to pretty much 2. I'm not going to all these calls back-to-back from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. back-to-back calls. I'm not. I think I'm gonna go to the calls through 12, from 9 to 12. I can't. As I have a one-on-one with my manager. We have our like team scrum, and then we have a training for a new product. We have to speak with finance. We have like a weekly discussion on reporting and numbers, and we just got word of the sales initiatives that we're going to be driving to improve sales for the second quarter for the month of June. Like, what is the focus going to be to help drive this? Okay. All right, so I have my one-on-one with my manager coming up, so I'm going to be on that, and I will check in with you guys in a bit. Okay. Okay, so one-on-one got canceled. All right, I'm just sitting here waiting on the call for about 10 minutes and nothing's happening. All right, so I'm gonna go back to working on my analysis of these of this performance. I've been doing some data cleaning and doing it in using Jupyter Notebook to do some data cleaning. I've been gathering data to do some insight. Oh, hold on. Actually, I need to, what was this? Oh, okay. I need to actually go in and look at some numbers, and I need to pull up Teradata because I promise you guys, I definitely feel defeated. Why is this? Okay, let's go to this other call. Oh, hold on. We got a couple minutes. I'm gonna wait a couple minutes then. Oh crap. Now, see, this is what I get for waiting. Now I'm late. 54. I thought it was like 46 or 4. Yeah, I thought it was in the 40s. Territories? Is that including? Hold on. Is that including? Hold on. Are you including? Okay, that's the difference then. Because I'm like, hold on a moment. There's 47 on, not including 47. I don't know how many there are for, because you know they treat, or we treat like a stepchild. So national, let's see. Yeah, I'm probably the opposite. I'm not a fan of this. I'm over it. I honestly think they would probably prefer in my opinion, but yeah, I mean, I just feel like because the targets are going to be more aggressive, I mean, they should have a more aggressive target. I don't think it should be like a rinse and repeat for May necessarily. You know, y'all need to work for it and push your reps for it, you know, because we are giving them harder targets. How so? Like if we're saying like, well, if you're going to do it based on a top where you're only wanting to once, then you wouldn't need but I'm still trying to make sure I understand what everyone's saying. I'm trying to join this call. I'm trying to join it. For some reason it's not. WebEx not working correctly. Okay, are you going to let me join? Everything. Like I don't know what is happening. Yeah. The main thing though is about the I guess from yesterday with the non-practicalized, that should say and, right? Not or. So did they explain whether it was just the verbiage that was wrong or the reporting aligned with the verbiage? Like they had to change. So that's okay. So this is why I'm trying to get clarification, because there's different information. Because if compensation is saying, hey, the verbiage in the was wrong, but all of the reporting numbers were correct, then that would mean that reporting was correct. But our numbers have never aligned to or matched like the dashboard, right? When I reached out to, because I've been having this conversation and verifying and we've been checking it against other sources, and I even checked it. Now I don't have access to the tables, but there are tables in EDW that I can see, and I guess maybe I'm just a bad picker because the employees that I've checked, like there's a line item where it shows, and those numbers never match like when I compared it to. So I'm like, okay, so this must be that we're only, because none of the, I guess for the ones that I viewed, I didn't view everybody, so it definitely could be, yeah, it could definitely be. Just didn't find anyone that I reviewed that showed that in that table, but it would show like I never saw that next to the line item that showed. So I'm not saying it doesn't exist, definitely could, and all of their numbers could be right. But when I talked about it again last night or before I logged off, he's like, I'm trying to get clarification on what's going on, because he says that the dashboard in that team, they are inflating their numbers. It seems, he says, based on the emails that he had been getting going back and forth about it, it seems like they are inflating their numbers, which is why it doesn't align to ours and what we're seeing. That's what I don't know. And he says I need to go back to review it, but he says my understanding is that their numbers are wrong. They're inflating it some way, shape, or form. Their numbers are wrong, because he says once they fix it, it should align closer to what we have. But I don't know the entire story. I'm not, on the email chain, obviously, but that's what I'm trying to get clarification on what's wrong, because yesterday when I went back and selected another employee, I'm like, okay, so we are showing in the 14. When I look at the or where it's labeled in the table, that 14 matched. I didn't see. So when I go in my compare it, it says that employee has 21. So I'm like, the difference must be the is what I'm thinking, you know, it must be the that was showing. But so I'm like, so is wrong too. Like if they're all using the wrong logic, I would not want to show show EDW because I don't know what they're including or excluding in the code. Like I don't know for sure. Right. I agree with that. I don't know. Like if there's an issue with them including, and when I say they align, this is me filtering down to what's labeled as, which is what I'm assuming is the apps that are being paid out on. If that doesn't match, like, so that's the only other source outside of our dashboard. Like, so are we saying mine is also inflated as well? You know, like that, I don't know. Yeah. Honestly, like it should be closer than this because like I said, yeah, because what were we at, like 3,700 and they're at like 6,500? Like, yeah, like that's crazy that it's that far off. So yeah, I would like to hear more about it, but from says his understanding right now was that their reporting is wrong and inflated and they need to fix it. So I was like, I don't see how that is. I mean, they because also employees have emailed us with the with the screenshots up, and it was different, and it's like, oh well, you know, and comp only includes from what I see and have been told, and that's the difference, you know. But also like even so like someone reached out to him about it and we were like, oh, well, you know, we're only looking at, that's probably why. Like, it seems like everybody else is using the same data source and their numbers are higher than ours. Well, for the, but yeah, I don't know what, it'd be nice to get some more info once they find out, but yeah. And then the other thing was the conversation about for this for June. So the thought, and I can ask him if if you guys want me to have this conversation with everyone in that Slack channel so everyone's aware, but it's regarding like the calculation, how they for incremental. So what he's proposing that we do, and that we would need to find a way to explain this, is that you have quota. He gave me an example. So if you have a quota of $415, they would need to sell $518 worth of order to get 125%, right? So once they hit the 518, any dollar amount over that is what he's saying they would then take and divide by $100 in order to get a count. So anything over that would then count towards the incremental. Okay, because he said this is what he was thinking with. And I'm like, that does make sense. Well, we would have had to divide it by the 100 regardless in order to get a count since we're incremental. But the piece of like once they hit the 125% of their sales, then taking that separated like above is where it becomes a little squishy, and we would need to make sure we explain it correctly, because if you go $32 over, 32 divided by 100, we're based on rounding rules, you're not going to hit one incremental, you know? So yeah, so they would have to be at like that, I think it was like 0.5 or higher in order for it to round up, you know, to 1. So yeah, so I'm aligned to this. I think it makes the most sense, but yeah, I can also tell them like, hey, think this is good, but also put it in the core team Slack to make sure others are aware. This is what we'll do. Like if there's something you know that we don't know, please tell us. Right. Yeah, he was like, how can I do a VLOOKUP? So I sent him a link because W3 schools like that, I think they break it down like very easy to follow, like W3. So it's like they have where you can learn pretty much anything about anything, like, and they show you step by step with examples. So I feel like for a beginner that's easy to follow. So I sent him the link from their website in order to like for the VLOOKUP piece, because I think that is easy to follow. And I said, hey, let me know, like, did you figure it out? He never told me if he figured it out or not, so I don't know. But yeah, and nothing crazy. Like nothing crazy. I'm not expecting him to do all these advanced formulas, but I think like counting and VLOOKUPs are probably like the most basic repetitive ones that I do. Right. So I'm like, yeah, if you can count and if you can look up information and understand how that works, because there's some, you know, caveats to VLOOKUP. It's not the all-in-one solution. It's not going to solve every need, but it gets you there for a lot of the basic stuff we do need. Yeah. So I thought that would be good for him because and I wonder if he said he submitted it. So I wonder how he did it because for the thing, they needed the email address. And I said, hey, like when I pulled the data from EDW, because he's like, hey, do I have access to EDW? I'm like, no, you don't. Sorry. And I'm like, when I pulled this data from EDW, like I just have, like in general, these are the fields that I just automatically pull when I run it, right? I just change out the IDs and I pull email address and name. So I said, all of that is on sheet 2 of the tab. I said, you can do a VLOOKUP to get the email address because that form they wanted, or the form it asks you to put in the email address. And I said, oh, you can do a VLOOKUP to pull in the email address. It's on sheet 2. And he's like, how do I do a VLOOKUP? So I shared that with him so he could, that link to W3 Schools, so he can go through it and see how I can do a VLOOKUP like simply and try to follow that. And I said, let me know if you have any questions or you need help with it. But this is just like where you can go to see how to do it, you know. But I don't know if he actually did it or not, because he said he submitted it, right? Like, yeah, maybe he did figure it out. I don't know. But yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind like walking him through the, well, there's count and count ifs. So I would say count ifs, some ifs, and VLOOKUP. Like those are gonna, I think those are count multiple field or put multiple conditions in the statement. So that's where you got to use like the count ifs or the sum ifs. So yeah. And now I would say but if they can learn the basic count if or sum if, they'll probably begin to understand the additional conditions later. Okay, so I am working on running a query in Teradata. For whatever reason, Teradata Studio is frozen on me and will not work. So I don't know why it won't let me, like I can't even type in it. Like it's just completely frozen. Like things have just picked up the second half of the day and I don't know why. Copy. Okay, I am getting a type of duplicate row in my query, so I need to isolate it to one of my duplicates when I run it. Where, let me just say equals this. You're coming back as a duplicate, but now you don't want to come back at all. Hold on, am I missing a 278? Maybe it's because you start with a 0. I hate that the leading zeros don't. Okay, so why are you coming over as a duplicate? Holy crap. Do these people just, I need to add an additional clause to like my where statement, where like to filter these results, and this is not in. I'm gonna just put bring me back everything where it's not meeting this one condition, because that appears to be the condition that's bringing back the duplicates. Because here's what's happening, or what I'm seeing in these examples I just tested. These employees, it looks like they were with the company at a point in time, they left the company and they came back to the company. They gave them, so there's multiple IDs that we use. So there's one that's universal that anyone can see, and then there's one that's just like private to you. There's other IDs outside of this, but just the generally known employee identification information. There's one that's universal that we all know and anyone can look you up by, and then there's one that's just specific to you that only you should know and maybe HR knows. Like in people, I guess people that have access to the databases can look you up with that. Like that's what I'm doing. And when they came, long story short, when they came back to the company, they were issued a new, the second ID, the one that's personal to them. So they kept their original universal ID. They were issued a new like personal ID. And because of that, it's bringing back duplicates because I'm looking them up based on their universal ID. So it's bringing me back a row. It's bringing me back 2 rows because the universal ID is the same on both, but their personal IDs are different. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is just delete or filter out the old one. So I'm gonna just pull it by date so that so let me delete this stuff out. Oh goodness. And then someone on my team, he was like, oh, you know how last month, was it last month? I think it was last month in April. It's still May, y'all. So in April, the business decided they wanted to do this initiative for sales employees. Oh my, can anything go right? Like, but anyways, like I was saying, last month, our business decided they wanted to do the sales initiative program for employees to, and I don't know that I can say any of this, so this might all be edited out, but There was a sales initiative. The employees, they were like, oh, we want to use this metric to measure performance for it. This metric has to be a full month. When it's updated, like there is only a month. You can't get a daily volume. It is a monthly calculation. So every day that's completed in the month, that result changes for them. They wanted to get it mid-month, or like May 20th. I said, I don't recommend it. I am only here to advise you what you can and cannot do. And I'm telling you, this is a metric that is monthly. And if you pull it before the month is over, that is not their true performance. I advised against it. And actually what had happened, I don't know if I recorded this day, but because it's been a time. One of my teammates on Slack, he has his Slack where he's presenting on a call, and if you Slack or send anything in our team Slack, the message pops up and it shows the entire message, y'all, or a preview of the message. He had the preview turned on. Why? I don't know. We had to have a call after that call for me to walk him through turning off your previews, because I like to talk. Okay, I like to talk, and I like to say stuff that everybody doesn't need to know necessarily. So I messaged it. I was trying to talk, and no one was hearing me because I don't know why I couldn't get off of mute. And I had messages in the chat saying, and I finally got off of mute. And I was like, no, I don't recommend doing that because of X, Y, and Z. It's a monthly metric. If you pull it before the month is over, it's not their true accurate results. It's not complete. We can't calculate it by day. Blah, blah, blah. And after I'm saying all of that, I go back on mute and I put in our Slack, I was on mute saying big no to this. And so everybody on the call saw that, right? Because he had his preview on and he was screen sharing. So everyone saw that. So y'all know I said no, and y'all also saw my private message to the team saying no. So now y'all are coming back to us now, like, because 90% of the population isn't meeting it, because again, it's a monthly metric. The full month hasn't completed, and then they're questioning, well, are y'all sure? Was this a good? We told you not to do it, but you did not listen to our advice. So it is what it is at this point. The numbers are the numbers. It's not like I can change the numbers.